On August the 11th, Cinemark and CineArts Theaters is excited to open The Glass Castle, a new Lionsgate film that's based on the memoir of Jeanette Walls, a noted best-selling author of that same book. It's a memoir, and Jeanette, we're happy to have you today to talk a little bit about the movie. First of all, congratulations on the book, and now it being made into a movie.
Thank you so much.
Before we talk about the movie itself, let's talk about the writing of the book.
Yeah.
How long of a process did that take you? And then also, was it difficult to kind of relive a lot of those memories that, you know, it was painful at a lot of times, but it was also very pleasant a lot of times.
It was the most excruciating thing I've ever done in my life. And I tried a number of times when I was younger. Then around the time I was 40, I said, I can't stop. I have to tell the truth. I just can't carry this story around anymore. And I wrote the first version of the book in 6 weeks. And then I spent 5 years rewriting it, trying to be honest, trying to describe what really happened. And I was a mess. I was practically in a fetal position under my desk. And I told my husband at one point, I can't live with this being out. And he said, you know, you have to tell this story. I didn't think people would get it. I thought that they wouldn't understand because it was too weird and complicated. But people are smarter and more compassionate than I realized.
When you were writing the book, did you think that it could be made into a movie?
Oh,
And
no.
did you have like a cinematic view in your head? And then also, if you ever did entertain those thoughts, who did you think would play you?
You know, someone asked me if this is a dream come true, having Brie Larson play me. I would have to be a nut job to dream this. Like, oh yeah, I want an Oscar-winning actress to play me, an Oscar-nominated actress to play my parents. No. My ambition for this story was so small. I just wanted to tell the truth and to stop changing the topic when people ask me about my past. I just wanted to help people understand, people who had money understand those of us who don't, and people who didn't have money to maybe get a glimmer of hope from my story. It was optioned for a movie pretty much when it came out, and nobody knew what to do with it. And a wonderful director and producer got their hands on it. So far as who would I want to play me, it just, I don't think like that. You know, it would have been too weird to like, oh yeah, she's me. You know, and this is not my area of expertise. And the truth is, when they chose Woody Harrelson, I thought, well, he's okay. They talked to some actors who physically looked a little bit more like my father, but I thought Woody Harrelson would do a decent job. He was so phenomenal. He just kind of blew me away. And it just goes to show you, I don't know this business. I wouldn't have chosen. I don't know if he would have been my first choice. They couldn't have made a better choice. He was the perfect actor. So what happened is, once it got optioned by this brilliant producer, Gil Netter, and this spectacular director, Destin Daniel Cretton, I just kind of said, you guys, take my story and do what you will with it. They constantly contacted me for my input and for my opinion, and if they wanted to expand or telescope a scene, how I felt about that. But they were smarter about this than I could have been.
You mentioned Woody Harrelson, a phenomenal job with what he did. But Naomi Watts, Brie Larson, they also knocked it out of the park as well, especially Naomi.
They were amazing. Naomi Watts, in studying my mother, you know, she talked to her a couple of times and you know, studied her writing, studied her art. My mother's a tough person to understand. She's a bundle of contradictions. I know we all are, but I think my mother is a black belt in that area. Naomi Watts, I believe, understands my mother better than she does. I thought she just was amazing. And it was great being around her. She could slip in and out of being mom. And she told me once, she said, I love being Rosemary. And I thought that was essential because it's easy to dislike my mother. And Naomi Watts was open-minded enough to understand and embrace this complicated person. Brie Larson, I think, makes better Jeanette Walls than I do. She was just amazing. Watching her, she does things that I do that I didn't realize I did. She has these mannerisms. I was watching, well, that's kind of funny the way she does that. And I realized, oh my gosh, I do that too. These actors, I think that they have extra nerve endings or something. They're just so perceptive. And they pick up things that regular mortals such as myself don't.
The child actors that played you as a young girl,
Ella
Chandler and
Anderson.
Ella especially was just phenomenal, and in terms of the little nuances she brought to the role, and how she was able to connect on screen with Woody Harrelson.
It was
phenomenal. You talk about chemistry, between romantic leads, but between this girl and with Woody and their connection, it was really, really palatable.
I do not understand how an 11-year-old could understand those complicated emotions without having actually gone through them. The scene where the father is trying to stop drinking and little Ella Anderson is looking at him with such confusion and love and pain, it ripped my heart out. I contacted her after seeing the film for the first time. How did you do this? And she's this brilliant child. I also give a lot of credit to the director. He created this very safe environment for the child actors. Chandler Head also, who played the littlest me, as they said, the littlest me, the middle me, but Chandler Head, phenomenal. And these kids on the set, Destin created this very safe environment. And the kids all went to ball games together, they went to a park together and climbed a tree. And Naomi Watts also deserves a lot of credit because she was very much in a mothering role with him. And Woody also played with the kids. So they were like this big family. It was shot in Montreal. And everybody thought this weird redheaded family had moved to Montreal because they were doing all these events together. And there was a bond. And they recreated my little shack in West Virginia. And the kids all loved living there because even though it was run down and dilapidated, the set director was absolutely brilliant in recreating it. And she said, it was run down, but an artist lived here. And so there were moments of beauty and the glass in the windows and the plates weren't matched, but they were all beautiful. And the kids loved living there. And the kids would skip around in the house and say, I love this house and I never want to leave. It was kind of magical. The time I spent on the set, I thought, I never want to leave here. I want to work here. And people told me, they said, not all movies are quite this beautiful.
I guess finally, the whole idea of resiliency and finding inner strength and being able to build upon whatever kind of past you had to make you who you are in the present and coming to grips with it. That's really kind of the true message behind the story. Were you pleased with how the directors were able to kind of capture all of those emotions and put it out there for folks to really gravitate towards?
I'm in awe of the way they did it. I thought it was so brilliantly put together. The scene in the pool where, you can't cling to the side your whole life. I can't let you cling to the side. And also this central message about chasing your demons. I thought was so beautiful and so beautifully handled. And the way that, the father, despite all of his talk about demon chasing, the demons got the best of him, but he gave his children the tools to fight the demons, and that is a beautiful thing.
Well, it's a wonderful movie, incredible acting, wonderful story. Congratulations once again, and we look forward to seeing the movie in the theaters next week.
Thank you so much.